Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Unique Bio Classes based on NCERT syllabus for PUC first and second year. If you like my channel, please subscribe, like and share and hit the bell icon so that you can get notifications as soon as videos are getting uploaded. Okay, so we shall start today's class. In our previous video, we have discussed about agents of pollination. Is it in agents of pollination we have discussed about entomophily, ornithophily, characterophily, hydrophily and anemophily. Today we shall proceed with the outbreeding devices. Okay, about outbreeding devices we shall discuss in detail. The outbreeding devices, what are this? Outbreeding devices are nothing but outbreeding devices are nothing but these are contrivances which favor cross pollination. Okay, which favor cross pollination. We have studied about in autogamy that we have said about the contrivances which favor self pollination or autogamy, like homogamy, cleistogamous flowers. Okay, like that we have studied. Here outbreeding devices are those devices which will favor cross pollination, which is helping for cross pollination, which does not help for self pollination. Okay, fine. Now in this outbreeding devices we have first one. I shall discuss about each one because pollen grains could not move by itself. We have pollination there. So these contrivances which are those. First one is unisexual flowers. Okay, first one unisexual flowers, or it is also called as dioecious plants. Okay, dioecious plants or dicliny. Okay, the first outbreeding device is unisexual flower or dioecious plants or dicliny. Now what are these unisexual plants or unisexual flowers or dioecious plants or dicliny? Is male and female flowers are present in different plants. Okay, here male and female flowers are present in different plants. In first chapter we have discussed about this. So are present in different plants. Example for this we have is papaya. Okay, papaya. So here male unisexual flowers or dioecious plants or dicliny, all that means the same, that here male plant is different. Male plant is producing only male flower, female plant is producing only female flower. Okay, now question is which one will produce fruit? That is female plant or female flower will produce fruits, right? Okay, now in this unisexual flower, how does it help for cross pollination? When male plant is different, female plant is different, then definitely it takes place cross pollination. Two different plants and there is a cross pollination among those. Okay, unisexual flowers, dioecious plants or declining. Next, second one. Second outbreeding devices we have dichogamy. Dichogamy. Okay, in dichogamy, di means two. Okay, the bisexual flowers here, the bisexual flowers in which male and female flowers, female reproductive parts mature at different times. Okay, mature at different times. Now the bisexual flower in which male and female reproductive parts mature at different times, which means now bisexual flower is that the flower which consists of both female reproductive organ and a male reproductive organ, right? Pistil and a anther, both are present in the same flower. Now in this what happens there, when this case is there, then there is more chances are there for autogamy rather than cross pollination. There are more chances of self pollination rather than cross pollination. So in this case what happens, in this kind of flowers stigma will mature first or anther will mature first. Any one of the reproductive organ will mature first. There is no synchronization among these two. If both are maturing at the same time, then there are chances of self pollination. If both are maturing at two different times, one has matured, one is still young, then there is no chance of self pollination. So stigma is matured, then what does it do? It will wait for the pollen grain coming from some other plant, and then it undergoes pollination, then fertilization. If anther is maturing first but stigma is still young, then what happens? Anther will produce pollen grains. If they fall on the stigma also, then it does not get fertilized because stigma is not yet matured. So that's why it undergoes cross pollination rather than self pollination. So dichogamy is that the bisexual flowers in which male and female reproductive parts mature at two different times. For that we call it as dichogamy. In dichogamy we have two different types. Okay, one is protandry. Okay, one is protandry, another one is protogyny. Protandry and protogyny. Protandry is what? Flower in which anther mature earlier. Okay, this is a flower in which anther mature earlier to stigma. Which means in this, first who is going to mature? That anther will get matured first, stigma is not getting matured. Which means anther has matured, there are production of pollen grains, but stigma is not yet matured. Because anther is matured, so it is called as protandry, androecium. Okay, pro means before, like that. Protogyny, hope you can guess what is this. Protogyny is what? Flower in which stigma gets matured earlier than anther, reverse of protandry. Okay, flower in which stigma matures earlier to anther. Okay, this is protogyny. Example for protandry we have, that is sunflower and cotton. Whereas example for protogyny we have is Mirabilis jalapa. Okay, this is about dichogamy with the protandry and protogyny. Next, in an easiest way, what we can say, that both the sex organs are not synchronized, reproductive parts are not synchronized, which is helping for cross pollination. Next, third one we have here is Herkogamy. Okay, Herkogamy is what? It is a flower in which there is a there are physical barrier between anther and stigma. Okay, so example Calotropis. Now this Calotropis is what? It is a plant which will produce milk, which is very harmful to you. As you might have heard that it will grow here and there, especially in our region. So you might have noticed. If possible, next time I shall show that flower to you all. Here this flower will have this kind of stigma in that. Okay, this kind of stigma will be having hard physical barrier over it. Now stigma is something like this, means then it acts as a physical barrier for self pollen grain. If pollen grain of a same plant will fall, then it does not allow it to get pollination or fertilization. If it is getting from some other plant, then it will allow it to fertilize. So here this will be the physical barrier. Flower in which there are physical barrier between anther and a stigma, we call it as Herkogamy. Okay, next one is Heterostyly. Okay, Heterostyly, the flower with different length of styles. Flower with different length of styles. And stamens and stamens that prevent self-pollination. Okay, heterostyly, flower with different length of style and stamen. So here this is a style of stigma and this is the style of stamen. Now the style's length, okay, stigma's length and a stamen's length, you can find there is a lot of difference among these two. So in this cases, then it does not allow it to undergo self pollination because length is very small. The pollen grains could not jump like this and could not undergo pollination. So the length of these styles and a stamen will also prevent self pollination and help for cross pollination. Hetero means different length of a style. Okay, that is heterostyly. Example for this we have here is primrose and oxalis. Now it doesn't mean that always stigma's length will be higher, then the stigma can be smaller and anther can be its length might be more. If its length is more, then chances of self pollination are there because pollen grains can easily drop it on the stigma. Okay, for this we call it as heterostyly. Right, now we shall talk about the next after heterostyly, self-sterility. Fifth one, self-sterility or self-incompatibility. Self-incompatibility. Okay, self-sterility or self-incompatibility means it is sterile for self-flower. Like if this is a flower, it consists of stigma and a anther, right? If pollen grain of a same flower is fallen on the stigma, then this stigma is sterile for self pollen grain. Okay, stigma is sterile for self pollen grain. If that same stigma is getting a pollen grain from some other flower, then it allows it to fertilize. But if it gets from a same anther, then it does not allow it to fertilize. Okay, for that we call it self-sterility. Sterile means incapable, unable to reproduce. Okay, so sterile meaning are two different, but here we are using that incapable or unable to reproduce. Anyhow, self-sterility, or it is also called as self-incompatibility. Now here we can use a term called as compatibility. You might have heard compatibility. So compatibility is that when it is accepting its own pollen grain, it is compatible. When it is accepting other pollen grain is compatible for the stigma. Incompatible means now it is incompatible to its pollen grain. Self-incompatible of a self pollen grain. Okay, so like that. So what you are going to write in this is the pollen grains do not germinate on stigma. Fine. So the definition of this, the pollen grains do not germinate on stigma of a same flower due to mutual inhibition. Because there is an inhibition among these two, that's why it does not allow it to fertilize. Example, potato, tobacco, petunia. These are some examples for self-sterility. Next, suppression of one sex. Sixth device, outbreeding device, is suppression of one sex. Suppression means it is getting suppressed. Okay, one sex will get suppressed in a bisexual flower, either male reproductive organ or a female reproductive organ. In bisexual flower, stamen or carpel is completely suppressed. Stamen or carpel is completely completely suppressed and become sterile. Completely suppressed and become sterile. Okay, so as a bisexual flower, we are showing many times, this is stigma and this is an anther. If both are present in a bisexual flower, in suppression of one sex, what happens? Either female or a male, any one of these sex organs will get suppressed. When they are getting suppressed, it is unable to reproduce. Like stigma, it is not getting matured. It is not having the capability to undergo fertilization further. And if this is suppressed, then what happens? Then anther is unable to produce pollen grains, like that. So if one has got matured, like stigma has got matured, then this organ will get suppressed. If this is matured, then this organ will get suppressed. In a bisexual flower, this case happens, so that we call it a suppression of one sex. Okay, these are six of the devices which help for cross pollination. These we call it as outbreeding devices. First one we said unisexual flowers or dioecious plants or dicliny. Next one is dichogamy. In dichogamy we said protandry and protogyny. Next we have said about herkogamy and heterostyly. Then self-sterility or self-incompatibility and suppression of one sex. All these are very important. It has been asked for 5-mark question and even for 1-mark question, like what is dichogamy, what is protandry, what is herkogamy, give an example for protogyny, what is heterostyly, this kind of question. So you must be prepared for this. Okay, you have the same notes what I have given just now in your textbook also, something like this, outbreeding devices. In this complete paragraph you will find that information. And here you have one more is diocese. Diocese is given for those plants which are having either male or a female flower. Okay, like we say for unisexual plants, for that it is also called as diocese, right? So this is about outbreeding devices. If you have any doubts, please comment in the comment box so that I can solve your problem. If you like my channel, please subscribe, like and share. We should meet in the next video with a pollen crystal interaction. Stay safe, stay healthy.